Are you a pet photographer sold on the idea of starting into videography, but you're not quite sure which camera to get? On this video, I'm going to show you all of my camera gear that I use for videography. Monique Renee here, a photographer at Silver Paw Studio, and on this channel I empower you to tell all of your tales with tales through photography and videography. And I realize on this channel I talk a lot about photography, but I haven't shown you all of my videography gear, and so I'm making this entire series. In this series, you're going to see all of my lighting gear, my audio gear, my camera gear, and my accessories, which actually include some other cool stuff. So make sure you're subscribed, you've popped that subscribe button, and you've rung the notification bell, and check out the playlist for any of the other videos in this series. So the question you're all wondering is, what video camera gear should I get? What do you have, Monique? Let's take a look. All right. In this video, I'm going to walk you through all of my camera gear for videography and why I have different pieces. At the end, I'm going to share with you my go-to camera and the one I think that you should start with if you're just starting out. All right, let me grab the other cameras. Okay, surprise, surprise, many of the still cameras we have excellent video recording options on them as well. I have the Sony lineup and they all have excellent video. So if you have a newer-ish camera, chances are it already has a red button that you can record video with. Yeah. So it's probably not a surprise to you that I have my Sony a9 II and the Sony a7R III, and I use these as video cameras in my studio. Now, I started off with this Sony a7R III, and I've used that. It has a dedicated button for video, and I've also assigned a button with all of the settings that I particularly like. This records in 4K. I can have everything hooked up to it, my microphone hooked up on here. It really works out great. I get very good video quality out of this camera, and I've loved it. This camera is a Sony a9 II, is really at this point my backup camera. We have this camera as a second camera for my studio, but also for my fiance and I for our wildlife photography. It has very good motion tracking. I'm going to start using this more in my still photography. If you're interested in all of my still photography gear, I update those gear videos every January, so be watching for those videos to come out as well. But these are definitely crossover. I can do stills and video on these all day long, all day. They can be a little bit harder to set up though, so I'm going to show you a couple other cameras I have as well. When I shoot video, I'm almost always have this Tamron 17 to 28 millimeter lens on. This is a nice lens for things like YouTube, interviews, anything where you're within, 10 feet or so, and if you want to show off the environment especially. It's also light enough to go on my gimbal, which is in the accessories video of this series. I'll show you the gimbal that I have, but this is a perfect setup with the 17 to 28 millimeter lens and a Sony camera, and I've shot many videos just using just that alone. Because these are harder to use on the fly, I have a couple other cameras to show you as well. First off is what I'm recording on right now, and that's the Sony ZV-1. I got this camera this year and I love it. You've probably seen a couple other videos on this channel of me using the Sony ZV-1 and trying to decide whether I wanted to get it, and no regrets. I love the Sony ZV-1. It's so easy to use, and for me, it's a dedicated video camera. I very rarely take stills with it unless it's a thumbnail for YouTube or a client video. It has the flip out screen. I have a cage around it so I can get to the battery and the card. I can easily put my microphone on it. And it has 4K. The Sony ZV-1 has been awesome. I'm really loving that. I can just throw it on a monopod and go. Really loving the Sony ZV-1. And before I had that camera, I had this one. And you probably saw this in the video where it's the Sony ZV-1 versus the GoPro. And this is the GoPro Hero 7 Black. Let me take it out of all of this. It's super, super small. What I love about this camera is it's a camera you can use on the go. This camera is now down to like $230 and it's awesome. It's an action cam, the stability is amazing. If you have all the covers on, it can go underwater, it can go in the rain and the snow. I can strap this on to the headband, I can put it on a dog harness. There's all kinds of things you could do with this action camera with dog videography. I've really loved this GoPro. And a lot of just talking to camera. So I can turn this on and just start talking. If you're really crunched for time, I've recorded a lot of videos just after a photo session, and I've just had my GoPro with me. I was gonna record a whole separate video of all of the accessories I have for my GoPro, but let's just go ahead and take a look at them now. You're welcome. All right, let's move these two over. So in order to do all of the other fun stuff with the GoPro, and a lot of them are like this, you need all this extra equipment. Even the GoPro Hero 9 that just came out, you need a lot of these accessories. So let's just go through them. So there's the actual GoPro. This piece is a Ulanzi brand cage. So the GoPro goes in there and then the little door goes on the back. And it has a cold shoe on the top that you can put your microphone in or a light in, whatever you want to do. In order to use a microphone with GoPros though, you need this little adapter. This is more expensive than it should be. Last I checked, it was about $49, but it's the only thing. And you can look, but last I looked, this is the only way that you can hook up a microphone to a GoPro. So you need to have this. I think the GoPro Hero 8 has a built-in microphone, but you'll definitely want to check out my audio video to see what I use on this. So this goes in here and hooks all up to the side of the GoPro. So that's for audio. And there's so many different stands that you can get. I love this Jaws clamp. I put this all the time on my monopod so I can get a little bit of B-roll behind the scenes of video I'm doing for YouTube here. I have put this around tree branches, on fences, on tables, on bookshelves. This is awesome. And it's also makes it just that much further when you're trying to talk on the go. I have my GoPro on this little Jaws almost all the time. However, you can get other attachments so you can put it on things like these little stands. So it works awesome with those too. You just have to switch out the plate. Another GoPro accessory I really like is this extendable tripod. So if this is hooked up to the GoPro, you have just a little bit of a stand, but you can also quickly make it into just a little handle. Really small for traveling. Really love having this. All the GoPro branded things are very sturdy. These are action cams, so they're gonna withstand dogs and cats running into them for sure. Let me show you a couple of the other accessories for GoPro. This one is for your head, around your helmet. So I can put this on and point the GoPro down. You can see the back of my camera. I could just put it on and have you hands-free. Love having the head strap, but as a dog photographer and videographer, getting one of these is awesome. At the time I bought this was the smallest one I could find, but this goes on a dog. And you could slip the GoPro in the front plate, so it could be the chest view, or you can put it on the back of the dog so you can see like their ears and their head. And I put this on a beagle for a commercial for a company, and it was great fun to watch the beagle wander through their facility from his point of view. So this is a really fun accessory to have for your GoPro. And the one last thing I want to show you, your GoPro won't come with an exterior battery charger. So sometimes when I've been out in the cold, I took this to dog sledding, and the battery doesn't last very long, like maybe 20 minutes depending on how cold it is. So you'll want to have a couple more batteries and an external charger, because otherwise you just plug in the GoPro and that takes a long time to charge. So that's one thing you want to note when you get a GoPro, is that you should get a couple extra batteries and a charger. And I know I've shown you a lot of expensive gear here, but I just want to let you know that you can use your phone. This is just a Galaxy S10 Plus, I think, so this is a year or so old now, but you could definitely do video from your phone. There are whole cages that you could buy that you can hook up a light. You could click your phone into a cage and hook up a light, hook up a microphone, put it on a stand, and you have a really, actually 4K good setup. If you're just starting videographers, there are professional level videographers that just use their cell phone, whether it's iPhone, Android, it doesn't matter. You can actually do a lot of video work with just your phone. Don't downplay your phone for sure when you're talking about video. All right, I told you at the very end I would let you know what my go-to camera is for video these days and what I suggest to you as just starting out. Let's move a couple of these things out of the way. My go-to for client video at this point is the camera that I use for my still photography, my Sony a7R III. If I'm going to do any client work, I'm going to use a Sony a7R III with the Tamron 17-28 lens on. That is what I'll use for most of my client work. Now, that's just my go-to at this point. And for YouTube, my go-to video camera now is the Sony ZV-1 that you're seeing footage of right now. But I have to say, if you are just starting out with video, GoPro is the way to go. These things are meant for action. They're meant for people surfing and skiing and motorcycling and all of those things. So these are tough as nails. A dog knocks this over and it's not gonna break. I crashed 3 times on an 8-dog sled ride with this GoPro and it's completely fine. Seriously, we went right into a snowbank. Not a scratch. Nothing's wrong with this camera. If you are starting off, get yourself a GoPro and get all the little pieces that go with it. You're gonna be surprised by how great the GoPro is and how easy it is. If you're at all intimidated by video, get a GoPro. I have to say, on the GoPro Hero 7 Black, just keep it on 4K all the time. You can always crop in 4K footage. So that's my little tip there for the settings on the GoPro, is just keep it at 4K. All right, there you go. There is all my video camera equipment. Now, if you want to know what I use for audio and for lighting, for everything else, be sure to check out the playlist, wherever I put it here, the playlist with all of my video gear for my pet photography and videography studio. And if you're interested in my still photography gear, be watching for that every January. I hope this was informative to you. If you're interested in any of this equipment, I have made handy dandy Amazon affiliate links for you down in the description, and you can go check it out for yourself. If you have any questions beyond this video, please type them in the comments. And as always, I wish you many woofs, purrs, and TREATSs.